So today I'm going to be talking about my March to be read pile. These are going to be all of the books that I am planning on reading for the month of March. Now, I am not 100% sure how that's going to work, if I'm actually going to be able to read all of these books, because my schedule is really busy with the number of classes I'm taking and the other extracurricular things that I do outside of school. So I'm hoping that I can read this many books, but I don't know if I will be able to. So yeah, I think I set my Goodreads challenge for this year at 50 books, and since the beginning of the year I've only read one book. So I'm really hoping that I can read the number of books that I'm planning on reading for this month and kind of keep that pace throughout the year so that I can meet my 50 book challenge. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the books that I'm going to be reading for this month. So this first book that I am going to attempt to finish for the month of March is Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. And I have had this book for months, and I have been trying to read this book for months. I think I got this book in December when I went to go visit my parents in Florida, or I had already started reading this book in December, and it's March and I still haven't finished it. So it's getting to be a little bit ridiculous that I still have not finished this book. It's not a bad book in any way, by any means. It's actually a really funny book. It's really sarcastic, and it's just hilarious. Like, I love this book, but for some reason it's like I'm not in the mood to read this book whenever I pick it up, and I've just been skipping over it and just reading other books that I'm more interested to read at the time. So this one has kind of just been neglected and put on my bookshelf on my desk, and I keep overlooking it, and I just don't want to read it for some reason, and I don't know why. But I'm really going to try and read this book, finish this book for this month, because it's ridiculous. Like, it's just sitting there. So this next book is the second installment in a series, and that is George R.R. Martin's A Clash of Kings. Now you might be wondering why I have two copies of this book. This is my actual copy, and I got this as a box set from Barnes & Noble for about $25. I think it was about $25, and there was 4 books in them. And then this one I got from my school's library, and I love hardcover books, not so much paperback books, because I hate books that have creases and wrinkles and bent pages and things like that. Like, this little thing right there just aggravates me. I hate it. And then when you open the book and you start reading it and this spine right here creases, that just bothers me. So I don't know. I wanted to read it in this version as a hardcover, just because the font is a little bit bigger, and you know, the pages are bigger, and you know, it sits up by itself. I don't know. I just like hardcover books better. But like I said, this is the second installment in a series of, I want to say, 7 books that he has, or that the series is composed of, 7 books. And I'm actually reading this book. I actually started reading this book a few months ago, and I got about that far. I didn't get too far, and I can't remember what I had read a few months ago because it's been such a long time since I picked it up. So I'm going to start from the beginning and reread it again. And I'm actually reading this book in preparation for season 2 of Game of Thrones that airs April 1st. So I'm really excited to get through this book and, you know, see what exactly is going to be going on in this next season, because the first season was amazing and the first book was amazing. If you like books that have a lot of action and mystery and twists and backstabbing and sex and betrayal and all that, then you're really going to like this series, because that's exactly what it's all about. So I'm really excited about this next season for Game of Thrones, because last season was awesome. So I really got to get a move on reading this book, because it's not one of your typical, I'm going to sit down and read this book in a day. This is a pretty chunky book, and it has really little font. So it's going to take me a few days to finish this book, but I'm going to finish it. So these next 2 books in my March to be read pile are books that I don't have any copies for, because I downloaded them as audiobooks from Audible.com. And these 2 books are The Pledge by Kimberly Derting and Tiger's Quest by Coleen Houck. Now, as of right now, I am like completely obsessed with The Pledge by Kimberly Derting. It is such a good book. It's different. The storyline isn't anything like I've ever read before. I like stories about princes and princesses, as corny as that sounds, but I do. It is actually my go-to book as of right now. Whenever I have any downtime or before I go to sleep, this is the book that I listen to whenever I'm not doing anything. So these next two books, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to get to them for the month of March, but I figured that I would put them in there anyway, just maybe I might be able to get to one of them, hopefully both of them, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to finish them because I already have 4 books that I am planning on reading for this month, and that's already pushing it. I mean, I'm a full-time student, I have other stuff that I do outside of school, and I really don't have a lot of time to read most of the time, so I'm trying to make time to read books, so that's definitely going to be pushing it, having 4 books to read, but I figured that I would throw them in there anyway, just because I've had them for such a long time, since about December, and just because they're books in a genre that I've never read any books in that genre before, and I really just want to get to them. I mean, I keep eyeballing them all the time whenever I sit down at my desk or I look at my bookshelf, so I really want to read these books. So this first book is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen the movie that Will Smith was in, and this next book is Monster Island by David Wellington. So yeah, these are the last 2 books in my March to be read pile. And here is hoping that I can actually read all of these books. That would be 6 books in total that I would be reading for this month. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to read all those books. I'm going to aim for 4 and then maybe one of these. So let's say 5. We'll see. We will see. I'm going to try. Thanks for tuning in for my March to be read pile, and I will see you guys in my next video.